welcome to the podcast, Chloe.
Thank you very much. Thank you for asking me on.
No, it's great. So do you want to tell us a little bit about, you describe your role, I've got a good idea,
Okay.
but, you describe it. You'll do a better job of it than me. So where are you in the business?
So I'm in Childrenswear.
Nice.
And I work, at the moment I work for Girls Wear clothing and non-clothing, so that's all the accessories as well, and pyjamas and swim. And then also recently we've got bedding over at our department as well. So I'm doing a bit of bedding, and that's across boys, girls and newborn.
And that's all design?
So just design, just print design, just print and graphics across all those areas. So yeah, it's great fun. It's a lot of variation, but yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And have you always done design?
Always done design.
Yeah.
When I first started, I'd done garment design.
Okay.
So a little bit different.
So what's the difference between print and garment?
Okay, so print, which is what I studied at uni. So I did surface pattern and print design. So that's kind of the print and pattern and graphics that go on the garment. And then the garment design is probably where you would have done fashion design as your degree. Right. So you're kind of doing the technical side of how the fit of the garment and the fabrication and all that. That's the main difference. Whereas at the moment we don't really touch the fabrication side or the garment. We just give the prints and the graphics. Nice. Pretty much. Nice. So yeah, that's the main difference. But they work hand in hand. So I was lucky that when I came into Childrenswear, I could kind of transfer the skills. So I'd learned a bit of Illustrator, Adobe. I'm sure you know what that is.
Yeah, I do.
I'd learned a bit of that at uni, even though I was doing a print design course, and then I could kind of use that when I came here. So that was good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's your route into next been? How long have you been here?
Route into next, very random next. So I've been here. Gosh, I started 2016 was my first ever placement on women's wear.
So you started as a placement, yeah?
Started as a placement, very funny story, but started as a placement basically, and it was great. I was just with the print team, straight out of uni pretty much. It was first kind of any kind of experience in a company of this size. So that was brilliant. And then from there, did a month placement. Was lucky enough to be offered another placement on Childrenswear.
Nice.
And then got offered the graduate position.
Nice.
Then the trainee position.
Wow.
And then just kind of developed through that way, yeah. But always on Childrenswear.
Always on children's.
Yeah,
so you've done the majority of the time with kids
like
wear.
7 years, on Childrenswear, yeah. It's gone very quick.
And what are you now? So now you've gone from being that not even graduate placement to a designer. Yeah.
Assistant print designer,
yeah.
Which is great. I mean, yeah, you learn so much. Even though just being on Childrenswear for 7 years, but it's working on all those departments. Like I used to work on boys and newborn doing print as well. And that was lovely because you got that variation and every day you're doing something different. But even just going to the garment side of things, you learn how to communicate with suppliers. Obviously we have so many places and countries in the world that we, manufacturing and everything. And even just having that kind of experience of, communicating with them, you pick up like so much. So yeah, it's been great.
A journey.
It's been great, yeah.
What's been your favourite part, if you had to pick anything out?
Favourite part? Oh gosh.
So yeah, sorry, a bit of
favourite part. So obviously I did garment and print. I definitely just print in general. That was print's that's what I studied at uni. And yeah, I don't know. I love the. It's been really nice to kind of get more involved with the print and then the trend side of it as well.
Okay.
Over the past few years, so kind of looking at design presentations and things, we can kind of look at trends and where we think print's going to be in the next year and a half, and we can kind of push that out to the team and kind of work back into that then. So I'd say, being able to research, present ideas to, the whole of girls wear.
Wow.
And then work into, that's been nice.
And is it hard to predict trends for print?
You know, we've got like such a great source.
Right.
Like the industry in general has like such a great source of kind of trend websites and presentations, and so many trend forecasters that we kind of subscribe to, or we'll go to presentations in London or something. So there's always so much information. We're getting it on weekly basis, like new reports and things. So it's just kind of almost too much to pick.
Right.
You have to kind of narrow it down.
Yeah. You've got to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's good then. So you're not going, oh,
no.
Where do I go?
Never.
It's more like,
okay, which suits us,
right?
And what can we make work for us on girlswear? And you know, there's things that are out there that may be suited more to women's or men's, and then you kind of filter that down. And think, this is for us. So so there's lots of information out there we can take, which is good. Yeah.
And what's some of the newer things that you're working on and doing now? What's the new?
Well, I mean, obviously for the past few years, the metaverse was hot. So thinking digital, AI is probably the biggest thing that we're kind of just getting ourselves into. As a company, we kind of started working on it. I was on Kidswear, I think it was about July last year. Okay. So it's still new, and we've managed to get a few bits out there, but it's just kind of trialing it really and see how it works for us. It's crazy. Right. In a great way.
Yeah.
The things you can get from it are fantastic. So it's just honing it into how we can make it like suit the next customer really.
And how does it work? Because I think when you say AI,
yes,
everyone thinks robot or software doing the whole thing for me. I guess it's not doing that.
It's not. It does a large part of it.
Okay.
It does a large part of it. So we're talking about prompting, and kind of that's the main part of it, is being able to understand what words to put in to the AI software to make it give you what you want back.
Right.
So that's it can be tricky, but when you get used to it, you're like, oh, okay, I need to maybe put this word in, and you know.
So whatever word you're putting in there really is going to dictate the outcome.
Massively.
So that's a skill then. Is that something you're like developing more and more?
I think. I know that there are jobs and prompting.
There are the
prompting jobs out there,
and
I'm like, I give it to them because it's hard. Like it's really hard to know, and especially on your time scales and deadlines and things to kind of to create these images in that small time, and actually they could be giving you things that you're like, oh, that's not quite right. So I think that's a massive part of it, and as you keep doing it, you just keep thinking, okay, this is the best phrase for me to get that kind of design, etc. So but it that'll just keep developing, I think, with how we use it, and trial and error, I guess, isn't it? Just like try and error with anything. But the good thing is that then when we've got those base images, it's what we do with them after. So there's still, obviously you're talking about it's all AI, you know, is it all AI?
Yeah.
There's still a massive human kind of element to it.
You're still there.
Yeah, we're still there.
Yeah, we're still there.
We're still editing it. We're still redrawing into it. We're still giving it that next style where we can, and which is really important. But it's good for us because we want to show that like side of our brand that customers know. So yeah, that's a positive to it, that you can still have your little spin on it as well, which is nice.
And what are you seeing the benefits using? So like, are you using it like daily, or is it like
not daily, which is good. Which is good, although it's great, and the things you can get from it are crazy and would take you, if you could get there, so long to do, so long. So from a timescale point of view, some of the things are amazing to be able to be done in that speed. It's amazing. But then just kind of it's giving you different imagery that you've just probably not thought of before, or that you, like I said, you just wouldn't be able to get to without really advanced training on different softwares, you know. So it's inspiration as well. Even if you don't want to use the image, you can put something in and then you can draw from that and kind of create an image from that inspiration. So there's loads of different ways to use it, and I think all departments now are next to using it on design.
Wow.
And I'm sure they would all be using it very differently.
Yeah.
But we have a little next print designers chat. So we're always like popping little ideas in, and you know, any little bugs that we can help each other fix, or if you found this will help you kind of get this, you know. So that's we'll just keep developing that. But definitely loads of positives in it. And it's mental, really, the variation. And I think, like you said, when you think of AI, you think of like digital, you think of like robots, you know, you think of that. But actually the styles you can get on there are kind of, they're not all about that. They're much more kind of, they're softer, they're a bit more pared back, there may be embroidery, maybe, you know, fabric, a pleat, you know, there's so many different styles that you can get off there. So, yeah, it's interesting to see where we'll go with it, definitely.
What kind of, so what, have you got like a recent example in your mind that you could, like what kind of, if you were going to like prompt it, what have you done recently?
Yeah, okay, so something that I put in was, it was, imagine kind of like a really bright, futuristic,
right,
lovely world in like
Pixar style,
sort of like animation.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, very childlike. It's, you know, it's
'Cause
bright,
it's
it's happy,
girls'
it's jolly. It, you know, it's what the world would be ideally in 50 years, you know, no pollution, no, like, you know, sun in the sky, no. And I think I'd put in something like futuristic, fantasy world in, you know, a naive style, suitable for children, bright colour, and you can add in whatever you want. And the things you get back are insane, like absolutely insane. I mean, I'm a massive fan of animation. Like anytime Disney comes out with a film, on a personal level, I'm like, oh, they're just brilliant. And I think when you see things like that come up, it's like, oh wow. So yeah, things like that. I think that's something that I've put in recently that we've hopefully been able to use. We're still kind of just working into bits, but that's kind of fun.
And you're like you've just said there, you're still involved. You're not just
massively.
going, right, I'll take that and put it on a garment and done.
Yeah,
you can still pull bits out, manipulate bits as well, and you're doing that, yeah.
It's almost like that's a starting point.
Yeah.
Those images are a starting point. You download them, and then that's it. You go there. You kind of edit. Yeah. You're pulling other elements from other things that you found, or you're drawing into it. You know, there's so many things, and you just, like we said before, make it that next brand. You know, and that's where I think it's nice for then. We can own that then and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we did that. Or I can put my name on that. Be like, oh, yeah, like I'm happy to put my name on that because there's a bit of my added style in there or something like that. But it's the variation is crazy. And we're still kind of waiting to see what the customers think of it, really. Because, you know, we've managed to get a few little kind of short lead things in over the past couple months. So we're just kind of seeing what the customers think and hopefully they like it. We're not even sure what our other competitors are doing, you know, kind of how they're using AI. So that'll be interesting over the next kind of few months to a year as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
It is really exciting. And is there any like downfalls that I'm not saying you will, that you'll just go into AI and it's like, you're no longer developing you?
Yeah, I think so. I think the downfall could be that you just go in and you pick up an image and then, like you said, that's done. Yeah. And not being aware of what else is out there, that would be like, I think that was where your downfall would be, because you wouldn't, you know, you kind of need to be aware of what other styles are out there that you could, you know. So I think, but the way we're approaching it is very much like, okay, this is a starting point for us. How can we then add in?
Great.
Which is good. And hopefully that's the way we keep going with it. So yeah, it's good. But no, it's crazy. I mean, we're seeing kind of big major sports brands working with kind of concept agencies, building up. I know it's a weird one, but it's so interesting. You know, if you set
what kind of concept agencies?
So, as an example, they're working with kind of accessories concept agencies where they kind of they're using AI and they're building like these amazing accessories for the sports brands out of AI, putting them on social media platforms. People are thinking, oh my gosh, where can I get this? I need it now. And actually this is AI, but it's such a good indicator for them to think, oh gosh, okay, there's a market for this. Wow. If we went to develop it, like, I think that's amazing.
Without any real investment, other than the investment of the person.
Yeah, other than the investment of that agency they're working with, or the single person they're working with, or the prompter, whoever. And I think that's incredible, to get that kind of, it's almost like real life consumer info, like, but there's nothing there. You're not selling anything. It's like an idea. So that's been happening a lot. And when you're talking about kind of where do we get the information, we're seeing a few kind of trend books at some of these, like, you know, some of these trade shows and things. There was one recently in Paris, and their catwalk was AI. Like,
what?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's mental, and you think, oh my gosh, that's real, and it's not, it's AI. So I think this is the way it's going, and
right.
Like I said, it's such a small part of our range at the moment. Such a small part. We're talking like a few t-shirts out of thousands of products. Like, it's so tiny.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting. And although myself, and I'm sure most of the girls wear team in particular would think, you know, our kind of handcrafted, hand-painted, hand-drawn, really hands-on way of working, that will be our like bread and butter.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
that
not
is
going to go
literally
away.
Like that's
no.
not going away
No.
at all. Especially for us, like that's what our customer comes to us for. Like, right. You know, so it's just trialing these things and seeing the successes out of it. I guess seeing where we can take it.
Yeah, because you're not. That was going to be my next question. Yeah. You're not just relying solely on AI. Like you say, it's a starting point, and you're also, because you said you come from print background as well. Yeah, definitely. So I'm guessing you've always been quite hands-on.
Definitely always hands-on. I definitely, the sides of that you miss, but it's so creative. Our job is so creative. If you come up to our studio, I don't know if the last time you came up, you know, people painting, and it's so creative. So that hands-on element is still there. But even just to drawing on the computer, that's still a great way to work. Yeah. Hand drawing in the computer, and it might not have all the texture that we maybe had before, or when I was on my university course or something. But you're still like hand drawing little narratives, little characters. So that's what I like. That's what I love. So I would never want to lose that. I'd never want to switch fully to anything like AI. But it's a great tool. It's a really good tool to have. When we need something that's a bit different. But I do think that most of us in our department, we just love that hands-on ideas coming from ourselves, researching, and then working into print and graphics that way. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've always been quite proud, haven't we, as a business on, you know, that we design stuff in-house, and we've got a great team and great people doing that. So I guess we don't really want to, we're not just going to forget that all of a sudden. No way.
And it doesn't suit every product area either.
What, AI?
No. It doesn't suit every product area. So although it can be the things that, I don't know, I mean, obviously always trying to adapt it so that if someone wanted something, okay, great, here it is, we can use AI to produce it. But actually, if it doesn't have to be AI and you can get there another way, use another software, that's great. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the AI route. So I think it doesn't suit everything. And I think the boys' wear department, I mean, the stuff that they've got there is amazing. You know, with some of the more hyper kind of graphic, digital kind of artworks that they're creating, they're fantastic. Because of that customer.
The customer.
Exactly.
It suits that customer more, so use the tool that suits the customer.
Yeah. And we've got older girls up to age 16, and we're constantly looking for like cooler, more modern graphics. And those kind of prints definitely suit that customer. You know, and you're thinking about our sports range and on these kind of different fabrics where the colours will be amazing, perfect. Like it would suit that, you know, perfectly. So it's just making it work for us really, and how we can get the benefits of it. But yeah, I'd always want to pick up a paintbrush or just like draw a little character or something myself. But yeah, it's a really fun thing to and even now, like we've been using it for quite a while, and we had a chat yesterday, just four of us, and we were like, oh, I've seen what you've done, so it was amazing. She's like, I know, I couldn't believe
using AI,
just using AI, what she'd built from it. She was chuffed, and it's, you know, that's what you get. It's nice because it's just a new, exciting way of creating something. That we've said it would, if you could get to it, great, but some of the stuff you couldn't get to that level of, you know, the digital look. So yeah, it's exciting. It's
and I guess as well, like you've just said, it's not just a case of, because I guess a lot of people, what you're talking about when we're talking about prompts, would think like ChatGPT is probably the most common one. Yeah, that's. You're not just putting it in once, are you?
No.
Does it take a little bit more time than just typing something in once and you're done?
Definitely. It's kind of, you're popping your phrase or your sentence and you'll get back 4 images. Right. And those might not be on the money at all. You might be like, oh no, that's not what I had
totally
in mind.
Wrong.
So you either back to or you might think, oh, okay, that's sort of what I had in mind. So you amend it to kind of suit that image.
Yeah.
Or if there's something that you really like, you can vary that one image, and then it gives you 4 new images based off the one you like, and you keep developing. You can, like keep adding words and taking words out. You can crop certain elements of it that you don't like, take them out, add bits that you want later. So it's very editable when you kind of know how to.
So it's almost like going back to the way you were talking about that futuristic
fantasy world. Yeah.
If you were like, oh, actually make the trees more this.
Yeah.
It would take that into consideration, give you more options.
Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of draw a bit over the bit you're not sure on.
Oh, okay.
Reprompt it and it will give you something new. It will like change it up for you. Or you can, this is where we then edit it. We download it all, edit it ourselves.
In the software that you...
In our usual Adobe software.
Adobe software, yeah.
And then we kind of edit those bits out and add them in, whether we can draw them ourselves or we want to find something else on AI. And that's where we can add our little stamp on it then.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think it's interesting because I spoke to a few people, like family and friends, that would never use this for and they're amazed by it, just the different things that it can come up with. But it's so many industries are using it now. So yeah,
there's a lot of industries.
Yeah.
I mean, even in my world where I use a lot of, we write a lot of copy, whether it be on social media or internally. I was reading an article the other day whereby it was saying, so everyone was like, oh, it's got to be human. There was an argument, it's either got to be human or it's got to be AI only. But actually someone's done a study and basically said that if you combine the two, it's actually about 30% more engaging than just doing the two. So if you go down the AI route alone, people are a bit like, that sounds a bit artificial. And if you just do the human element, people go, oh, that's not quite right either.
That's really interesting. I can see that from a print and graphics point of view 100%,
as well. 100%, yeah.
Because I think that's where we get kind of more excited, when we can take that 100% AI image and then add our bit into it, and it's like, okay, that looks much more, not even just credible, but where we want to go with it. So I can see that.
Next is AI
exactly.
doesn't know that, does it?
Exactly.
It doesn't know that.
Exactly.
So you're putting that in your experience and your skills and knowledge of the customer, and that's going to keep coming through more and more.
Definitely. And making that artwork more relatable, I guess. That's an interesting study. I can imagine that.
You'll really know the next customer 100%.
I hope so.
You'd like to think so after 8 years.
You'd think so, but definitely. And then and that's you're right, and that's how you adapt it and add that kind of human bit in there. So definitely.
Cool. I guess as well, where do you where else is it going to go from here, as well?
Oh, okay, yeah. I think to be honest, I think in terms of where we can progress this now, we're just seeing it will be waiting for kind of that feedback and sales, and we're always thinking about that. That's the whole point of it. And just thinking, okay, what does the customer like about this? Because not every part of it that we do is going to suit our customer.
No.
And that'll give us a lot of, I think, information of how we can progress it and which styles we can go down, and like we were talking about, which products we can use it on. I mean, we're using it on bedding now.
As well.
Bedding
so we're
using
as well.
It on bedding, so we've got a couple of things over the next 12 months, coming on children's bedding, some large scale like crazy, for boys and girls, different scaled scenes and inflatable Christmas characters. We've got, these are all AI, so the thought of that on bedding is crazy, but it's cool. So we'll see kind of where the market is for it, and then where we can progress with it. But I think it would be great to just get to that point where we can, okay, we've got the styles we know we want to do in AI, great. Yeah. But then also, how do we merge them together? Yeah. And that's where we probably need to get to, is where we're using it as an aid, as do you know what I mean? So we can add in more of our own style, our own hand-drawn elements, and those AI bits can go in, and where can they slot in? I think that would be really good for us to just keep putting our stance on it.
Can you do it the other way as well? Or is there another way? Say if you've started a print and you're I'm just not quite feeling this. Can you go, right, here's my start point, add to it?
You can.
You can?
You can add to it, and what you can kind of, you can explore a few things. It depends what software you're using.
Yeah.
But say you've got a drawing or a photograph, anything, you can put that into AI, and then you can prompt it from there as well.
Wow.
So say you had something, I don't know, pencil drawing or crayon or anything, and you wanted it to be a bit more, I don't even painterly or really digital and hyped up and 3D effects. You can get there that way as well. But I mean, I would say for us, I think, like I said, we're not using it every day. No. We don't need to use it every day, which is good. Is good for at the moment. It's kind of like in little chunks where we feel like, oh, let's have a little hit there, or let's have a little hit there, and that kind of handcrafted kind of traditional craft is still massively there. We're always hearing about this and all the, trend reports, how important that still is, which is great for us as print designers because we love, we need to hear that. But so yeah, it'll be interesting how we can merge them together. And also kind of, I think it'll be really interesting. I was talking about a bit before about, people using presenting trend books in this way. I wonder how else we could kind of get there. Could we have design presentations where a part of it is AI, where the outfit's fully kind of imagined.
And almost you can prompt it while you're in it.
Yeah.
So if people are like feeling into it and the outfit's coming up and it's like, what do you think? And it's like, that's a bit too, actually reduce the pattern size or make the pattern bigger or fuller or. And
just, or just kind of outfitting. And, that's a massive thing of, especially on girls, where how we're kind of pulling the clothes together and sitting the different products with it, with each other to create like a style and an outfit. Actually, to do that in AI, taking kind of print and graphics out of it, but still
just in a general
way
term.
For us on Girlswear would be really cool.
Yeah, because I guess with fashion, it's there's. I mean, I've heard of other things around the business, and hopefully I can find out who's doing what. But I think they're even like doing it like modelling, so you see what it looks like on.
You can fully see how it looks on. I mean, I remember seeing some of these kind of proper Milan catwalks, some of the high-end brands, and they're kind of showing all their new collection on models, but it's like showing it on people and like all AI, and it's just that's where it's going. I think it's going to go this way. So it would be really cool to use that in a trend way, a trend-driven way to kind of push out like ideas and where we're thinking of going for the next season in print and graphics and fashion, and garment in general. That would be really cool. So I think there's loads we could do with it, and it's just kind of keeping the roots of, okay, we know this works for us on print and Girlswear, and we know what the customer likes, but also how can we inject this, this something that everyone seems to be using. How can we make it work for us? So that would be exciting.
I think what's really interesting is you keep like, when we're talking about it, you're always describing it as a tool. Yeah. In its simplest form, if we were going to say what it is. Yeah. Because I reckon a lot of people, a lot of the time, are thinking, are people going to lose jobs and stuff? It's nothing like that. No.
It's nothing like that, because I'll be honest, you can pop in, I don't know, something cute cat or something like that. Yeah. And you'll get like 6 limbs on it. I'm talking like you'll get extra.
Really?
Yeah, you'll get extra paws. This is like a real common thing. You'll get extra limbs. You'll get extra hands and feet on humans and things, and it's just kind of. Yeah, like we need to be there to edit that out. Yeah. So that's quite the fun. That's a funny part of it. But so we'll always be, needing humans to we'll be needing us to kind of keep editing and and just keep pushing for the trends and stuff, really, because I think that is such a small part of it when we're looking at new graphics, new print. AI is definitely there, but it is still a small part of it. But where we can use it as a tool to kind of, push up some of our graphics that we're doing, it'll be really cool. I'm really looking, to be honest. It's been there's a few of us on Girlswear that have been kind of pushing for this and see how we can work with it. And I'm just intrigued to see how people.
Yeah, you do seem really curious with it. Really curious with it. I think
there's been so much information over the past however many months or a couple of years on Meta and AI. Yeah. Which seemed so scary at first to us, knowing our customers and everything. But I definitely think they're ready for it. So it'll be interesting to see. We're going to see how they take it on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, Chloe,
Thank
and
you for having me.
talking to us about AI
Thank you.
all things going on in design as well. It's good to know that it's not going to be completely taking over.
No,
It's good to know that we're still always going to have those, designers there, because
100%.
that experience and knowledge is
100%.
what we'll always need. So yeah, it's been really good chatting with you.
Thanks for having me on.
No worries.
Nice to chat to you too.